Can anybody tell me what is the meaning of single inheritance? Or should I take name personally? Roll number 1, Mohini Gaikwad. Mohini, is it audible? Roll number 1.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what is the single inheritance?
Don't know, sir.
Okay. Roll number 7, Aishwarya Rathod. Aishwarya Rathod is there? Roll number 7. Aishwarya Rathod is there? I think she left. Roll number 6, Rani More. Are you there? Roll number 6. Roll number 6. Are you present? Roll number 6. Roll number 6. Roll number 31. Rushikesh. Rushikesh,
Yes, sir.
can you tell me what is the meaning of
Yes, sir.
single inheritance? सिंगल इनहेरिटन्स म्हणजे काय माहिती का?
A class is allowed to inherit only one class.
काय?
A class is allowed to only inherit only one class.
ओके. हेलो. रोल नंबर 8. रोल नंबर 8, अनमोल राउत. Is it audible? Is it audible? Anmol Raut. Roll number 26. Roll number 26.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what is multiple inheritance?
There are the 2 or 3 base functions.
Base functions नहीं, base classes.
Base classes. 2 or 3 more base classes.
And from that base classes, we are going to derive one single class.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is called as a multiple inheritance. And what is multi-level inheritance? Multi-level inheritance. In a multi-level inheritance, what happens? Number of levels are present. Okay, and we are going to inherit the data level by level. जसं मी तुम्हाला सांगितलं होतं, एक एक्झाम्पल दिलं होतं तुमचे ग्रँडफादर, फादर आणि सन. ओके, whatever may be the building constructed by your grandfather, when your father will become the owner of that building, your father is going to use the same building which should be constructed by your grandfather, and along with that building your father can add number of stories in that building. Means we are going to use the data members and member functions of a previous class, that is called as a base class, and along with that we can create or we can add some more data members and member function in the existing class. Okay, so that things are going to continue level by level, so that's why it is called as a multi-level inheritance. Okay, single inheritance मध्ये काय? one base class should be there, and from that one base class we are going to derive only one derived class. म्हणजे एका बेस क्लास पासून आपण काय करणार, एक डिराइव्ड क्लास क्रिएट करणार. ओके. मल्टिपल इनहेरिटन्स मध्ये काय, मोर दॅन वन बेस क्लासेस आर प्रेझेंट अँड फ्रॉम दॅट बेस क्लासेस वी आर गोइंग टू क्रिएट दी single derived class. So that is called as a multiple inheritance. And in a multi-level inheritance, what happens, we are going to inherit the data level by level. So it is called as a multi-level inheritance. Now the next topic, that is called as a hierarchical inheritance. So see here, in a hierarchical inheritance, what happens, from single base class we are going to derive more than one derived class. Okay. So see the diagram here. Class A is called as a base class, class B, class C and class D. These three classes are derived from the class A. It means that in a hierarchical inheritance, what happens, single base class should be present, and from that single base class we are going to derive more than one derived class. Okay, so that is the concept of hierarchical inheritance. So see here, when several classes are derived from a common base class, it is called as a hierarchical inheritance. Okay. Once again, I am repeating. If we are able to derive more than one derived class from a single base class, so that concept should be called as a hierarchical inheritance. So it is completely opposite to multiple inheritance. Multiple मध्ये काय, more than one base class should be present, and from that base class we are going to create one derived class. Okay, in a multiple inheritance. आणि हायरार्चिकल मध्ये काय, एकच बेस क्लास आहे, and from that base class we are going to create more than one derived class. So this is nothing but the hierarchical inheritance. Okay. So see second line. In C++ hierarchical inheritance, the feature of a base class is inherited onto more than one subclass. Okay. Means whatever may be the data members and member functions which are present in a base class A, so that data member and member function can be inherited in a class B, class C and class D also. So for that we are going to consider one simple example, that is the example of car. कार काय तुमचे कीवर्ड आहे. ओके. बट मार्केटमध्ये नंबर ऑफ कार्स प्रेझेंट आहेत, जसं मारुती कार आहे, फेरारी आहे, ऑडी आहे. सो consider that class C is nothing but the class car, class B is nothing but the class Audi, त्याच्यानंतर class C is nothing but the class Ferrari, and class D is nothing but the class Maruti. Means under that car we are going to create three derived classes, that is class Maruti, class Audi and class Ferrari. म्हणजे त्यांनी हायरार्चिकलचं एक सिंपल एक्झाम्पल घेतलं आपण कारचं. एक कार आहे, तर कार नंबर ऑफ टाइप्सचे आहेत, बरोबर आहे. एक मारुतीसाठी मारुतीचा क्लास वेगळा, म्हणजे मारुतीचे एक्स्ट्रा फीचर्स काहीतरी ऍड असतील. ओके. कारण प्रत्येक कारचे जे फीचर्स आहेत, काही फीचर्स सेम आहेत. म्हणजे प्रत्येक कारला ऍक्सिलरेटर असतो, प्रत्येक कारला फ्युएल लागते, प्रत्येक कारला आपण ब्रेक्स असतात, बरोबर आहे. सो दीज आर दी कॉमन डेटा मेंबर्स अँड फीचर्स. ओके. सो in a class B, consider that class Maruti. So मारुतीचे जे काही फीचर्स आहेत, म्हणजे हे जे कॉमन फीचर्स आपण कुठं क्लास मारुती मध्ये आपण कॉपी केले, बट अलॉंग विथ दॅट फीचर्स मारुतीचे काही एक्स्ट्रा फीचर्स असतील, बरोबर आहे. त्याच्यानंतर फेरारीचे काही एक्स्ट्रा फीचर्स असतील, आणि ऑडीचे पण काही एक्स्ट्रा फीचर्स असतील. सो दॅट एक्स्ट्रा फीचर्स शुड बी प्रेझेंट इन देअर रिस्पेक्टिव्ह क्लासेस, बट common features that should be present in a base class. So that's why it is said that in C++ hierarchical inheritance, the feature of a base class is inherited into more than one derived class. Why? Because some features are common. So for that common features, we are going to create one base class. So instead of doing that repeated thing, so the common features we are going to inherit it in a respective derived class whenever it needed. Okay. So see here, as shown in above block diagram, In C++ hierarchical inheritance, all the derived classes have common base class. So class B, class C, and class D are the derived classes. So all these three classes have a common base class. Okay. The base class includes all the features that are common to derived class. जसं मी तुम्हाला सांगितलं होतं प्रत्येक कारला फीचर्स आहेत. मग फ्युएलला प्रत्येक कारला फ्युएल लागते, प्रत्येक कारला ब्रेक आहे, प्रत्येक कारची सर्टन कॅपॅसिटी आहे. So these are the common features. So that common features, the base class should include all the features that are common to derived class. Means जे काही कॉमन फीचर्स आहेत या तिन्ही क्लासचे ते कॉमन फीचर्स कुठे प्रेझेंट राहतील, तुमचे बेस क्लासमध्ये प्रेझेंट राहतील. बरोबर आहे. सो ॲज इन अदर इनहेरिटन्स बेस्ड ऑन द विजिबिलिटी मोड यूज or access specifier used while deriving, the properties of a base class are derived, and access specifier can be private, protected and public. जसं आपण तुम्हाला मी आधी सांगितलं होतं की या तीन टाईपचे ऍक्सेस स्पेसिफायर्स आहेत. ओके, पब्लिक, प्रायव्हेट अँड प्रोटेक्टेड. ओके, when a public access specifier is used in a derived class, at that time what happens, whatever may be the public data members of base class, that should be inherited as a public data member in a derived class, and whatever may be the protected data members are present, that protected data members also inherited as a protected data members in a derived class. Okay, and when we are going to use a private access specifier, at that time public and private mode, or that is called as a public and private access specifier of base class, should be inherited as a protected access specifier in a derived class. And we know that if private data is present, so that private data we cannot inherit into the another class, because the private, when we are going to use a private keyword, at that time what happens, that member function and data member should be limited up to that particular class. Okay, so now see the syntax for C++ hierarchical inheritance. So consider that class A is nothing but the base class. वरची diagram लक्षात ठेवा. Class A is nothing but the base class. So see here, class A is nothing but the base class. So we are going to write certain data members and member function within that curly brackets, and by the semicolon we are going to close that class A. Okay, now here class B is there. So see here, class B is derived from class A. So we are going to write here class B as a derived class, and we are going to use access specifier, that is public, private and protected, and A is nothing but the base class. So we are going to write here name of the base class. Okay, so whatever may be the member functions and data members of class A, that is going to copy into the base class, and along with that, if extra codes and extra features that are should be present in the class B, so we are going to write within that curly bracket. Okay, so now see here again, class C is derived from class A. Okay, so syntax is simple. Write down again derived class as a class C, and that class C should be derived from class A. So whatever will be the properties of class A, that property should copy into the class C along with the, and we can add here extra data members and member function as per your need. Okay, and similarly for class D. So this is the simple syntax for hierarchical inheritance. So once again I am repeating, in a hierarchical inheritance what happens, one base class should be present, and from that base class we are going to derive more than, from that base class we are going to derive more than one derived class. Okay, so whatever may be the common properties of derived classes, that common property should be present in a base class. So this is the simple function. Now see one simple example of hierarchical inheritance. So we are going to create here class A. So that class A is nothing but the base class, and within that base class I am going to define two data members, that is integer x and integer y. Okay, now I am going to read the value of integer x and y. So for that we are going to use the cout statement, that is enter the value of x and y. So it is better we are going to write this program. So we are going to create here, so we are going to create here class A. Okay, and within that class we are going to write first of all access specifier public, means our data members and member function should be public here. Now here we are going to define two data members, that is integer x and integer y. Okay, now I want to read the value of integer x and integer y. So for that we are going to create one function that is called as a void get data, and within that function we are going to write cout statement. So cout statement is used to print the data. So enter enter values of x and y. Okay, and cin, that cin statement is used to read the value of x and y. I think it is clear. एक base class create केला, so name of that base class is class A. Okay, and within that base class we are going to define two integer variable, that is x and y, and we are going to create one member function here, that is void get data. So with the help of that function we are going to read and print the value of x and y. Okay, now we are going to create class B. Okay, and in that class B we are going to copy, means we are going to inherit the member function and data member of class A. So for that we are going to use the access specifier, that is we are going to use here public access specifier. So we are going to use here access specifier public, and the base class means the class from which we are going to inherit the data. Okay, now after that, see here we are going to create one class B, and we are going to inherit the data from the class A. Okay, now whatever may be the data member that should be present in the class A, so with the help of that data members we have to do the product. So what for that, what will we do? So we are going to create one member function, that is we are first of all write here public. So we are going to create here one function, that is void product. Okay, after creating that member function, what happens? We are going to write cout statement. So in that cout statement we are going to print the value of that product. So see here product equal to, okay, and the value should be present in the x into y. Now again create another class, that is class C. Again class C is going to inherit, again class C is going to inherit the data from class A. Okay, now we are going to create the sum of that class. So we have to print the sum for that data member. So for that we are going to create one member function. That member function should be the sum. Okay. Now write cout statement, and in that cout write down sum. Sum equals to, and write down here x plus y. Okay. So we are going to create here two classes, that is class B and class C, and that class B and class C is used to inherit the data from class A, and that class A is a base class for class B and class C. Now I am going to create right here, declare here main function, and within that main function you know that the object should be created with the help of the base classes. So here class B and class C are the base classes. So first of all, create the object for class B. So write down here class name, that is B, and write down here object 1. So this is the object for class B, and I am writing here C obj2 obj2. So this is the object for class C. Okay, now call the functions one by one. obj1 dot get data semicolon obj1 dot. Now these are the functions that we are going to return here. So now write here obj dot to, sorry, obj2 dot again get data. So that get data function is used to take the values of integer x and integer y. Now obj2 dot sum, and at last return the value. So return 0. Okay, now we are going to run the program. Let's see what will be the output. Okay, here we are forgot to write access specifier, that is okay. Now run. So see here, programs are not so difficult. So we are going to do one simple mistake. So that's why that program will give the error. So programs are not difficult. So to make our program more clear, so always try to avoid the errors. Happens, net issues. So it appears in a one single line. So for that I am going to use here endl statement. Endl. Okay. Now for product equal to, again I am going to write here endl statement. Enter the value. It will ask enter the value of x and y. So I will enter the value of x as a 10 and y as a 5. So see here what will be the output. So in a class B function, so see here in a class B function we are going to use a public access specifier and name of the base class. So from that base class we will get the value of x and y. So that value of x and y should be copied into the class B. Okay, now in a class B we are going to declare one product function, and within that product function we are going to print the value of product, that is x into y. Okay, so 10 into 5, the output is 50. Now again in a class C, what happens, we are going to copy the value of x and y. So here enter the value of x and y, that is again 10 and 5, and when I press enter here, so it will give the sum, that is what happens? 10, 5. So it will give sum, that is sum equal to 15. So this is nothing but the hierarchical inheritance. It means that from one base classes. So here we are going to create one single base class, that is class A, and whatever may be the member function and data member should be present in that base class. So the data members and member function we are going to use in a class B and class C. Okay. So see here, integer x and integer y, that should be present in a class A. So that class A data we are going to inherit in a class B and class C, and with the help of that inherited data we are going to print the product and sum of that integer x and integer y. So this is the simple example of hierarchical inheritance. So this is the simple example of hierarchical inheritance. So is it clear to all of you? Hierarchical inheritance is clear or not?
Yes.
Okay. So all of you should write your roll number in a chat box. All of you should write your roll number in a chat box.